Hi guys, welcome back to Book Lovers Bubble, and this is part 2 of the video where I'm going to start decluttering my collection. The first video I was explaining about why I was wanting to get rid of my things, and now I'm actually going to do it. And starting off with this video, I have some books laid out on the floor. We have some manhwas and manga and novels as well, and these are the ones that I decided to take out from my collection and I will be selling them. I already started selling off the Scum Villain Taiwanese editions. That's going to be getting packed up soon. It's been well over a week since I made that last video, and originally I was selling off the books, but then I started realizing that people were actually getting really excited about buying the books that I was selling off on TikTok. So then I continued to move on to the shelves. I was like, all right, I'm gonna start off with the plushies, the acrylics, the figurines. I started off with the Scum Villain shelf because I felt like it was the easiest one to work with, because like all the items on there wasn't really as overwhelming as the merch I had for TGCF or MDZS. So I started with SVSSS. I created a huge lot for like my Scum Villain plushies, and that went a lot better than I expected, you know? So after I made that sale, I got really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, people are actually buying this. So I moved on to Urha. I got like the plushies from there. I created another lot, and that one sold off right away too. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, where I was gathering my acrylics from my TGCF and MDZS shrine. I grouped them up into one large lot. That way I wouldn't have people pay for like items individually one at a time, because if I did that, it would take so long. I had like over 100 acrylics that I had to get rid of, and I think I got rid of like majority of them. So what I did was I advertised on TikTok. I just simply made like a video for the listings, and sometimes I also posted it on my story too. So some people actually missed out on my stories and they were hoping for it to be like released on video, but I was actually selling both ways. I even sold some stuff on Instagram too, but eventually I moved everything to TikTok because there's a lot more traffic there. So I stick to TikTok to the end pretty much. But people are way more excited on TikTok than I anticipated, which is why I continued to sell as fast as I did. I was not expecting to sell majority of my Danmei shrine. I was gonna start slow, like how I said in my last video. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just throw it into storage. But after I started with the books, I was like, ooh, this is kind of fun. I want to continue this because people are so excited. And I was like, I might as well just continue on with it from here. And it went really well. It went so much better than I expected. So if you didn't know, I had like a New Year's resolution to pay off my debt. At the time, I owed my mom 2.3k USD, and I managed to pay off my debt within the first 2 days of selling. I sold for a total of 6 days on TikTok. I spent like all day, every day, just listing my items, talking to who knows how many people. There were so many messages, I couldn't even answer all of them. And people were just so excited to get my listings, and people were grabbing them within like minutes for some listings even. It was so crazy how fast it just went by. And the crazy thing was that I was working myself so hard that I literally got sick afterwards. After I finished my orders and all that, I was coming up with like the symptoms of a cold, like allergies and stuff, because my sister also has allergies. I guess it kind of partially affected me. On top of that, I was overworking myself and I couldn't get like proper sleep because I was just so excited with, you know, getting my stuff out to people and packing it up. Within 6 days, I packed 43 orders and shipped out in 3 batches. It was so much work. During that whole process, I was just thinking to myself like, wow, this is probably what a successful business feels like if I were to actually profit, you know? Just how excited people were. Every time I put up a new listing, they were just trying to grab at it, and I was like, dang, this must be what it feels like to have a successful business when people release like their new launch or a drop, and then people are just buying things until it sells out. It just felt so fun. It was a new experience because I never really experienced that type of thing before, where people are just so excited. Usually I would get like orders, you know, a couple orders a month or so, or sometimes even less than that. So I don't have like a full-on blown business, but doing something like this was really challenging to answer all the messages, and it was like tiring at the same time, but it was also really fun. And overall, I just had a good experience with decluttering my shrine, so I feel like I don't regret it as much. And so far, I haven't really relapsed either. And I guess from here, the biggest motivator to continue what I'm doing is the fact that not only did I just pay off my debt, I also have some money in savings now. In terms of profit, I don't really profit from what I sold. I tried to charge high enough, that way I can get like most of my money back. I really didn't want to lose so much money, but I did manage to get some back, so I feel like it's a win. People get what they want, and then I also get what I want. Even if it's at a loss, you know, it's totally fine. Every time I have a hobby and like I collect things and I sell it off, I always lose money anyway, but I managed to reach my goal, so I'm pretty happy with that. When I first started selling it off and taking things down, I did feel a slight bit of regret, just because my mom came into the room and she was looking at my things and she was like, wow, you're really selling your stuff, you know, I really didn't think you were ever gonna do that because, you know, you were so in love with your shrine. And it just made me kind of emotional when she said that, because I really do love these stories so much and I never really wanted to part with them. Every time I got into a new hobby, whenever I collect things, you know, I always buy them with the intention that I will keep them forever, that I would never part with my things. And I feel like that's a good mindset to have when I enter a new hobby. You know, I don't want to think about, oh, maybe I should keep this and this because I might sell it later. I just go dive right into it 100% thinking like, this will be mine forever. This is what I love. And basically I don't half-ass my hobbies. But when the time comes to sell it, sure, I'm able to let it go. It's just my intentions when I dive into a new hobby. I just want to make sure that I'm enjoying it for what it is and not thinking about profits in the future or thinking about how I'm going to let it go later on. I just want to enjoy it in the moment. And I feel like these items have served its purpose for the time. So that's why I feel like I'm okay with letting it go now. I did keep some stuff anyways. I kept the things that I had a really hard time parting with. For example, like the ring dolls. There were a couple of acrylic stands that I kept as well. The plushies that I made, for sure, I'm keeping that. There's the Bushinchin figure that I'm also keeping. A couple of music boxes because I feel like it's really hard to ship those out, so I decided to keep it anyways. I also like the music on those, and it looks really good with whatever I have left. I also kept like the medias, the novels. I kept the radio dramas for MDZS. I also kept the really giant acrylic stands for MDZS just because I feel like it'll be really hard to ship out, and I like them too. There's one shelf that has the really large Wangshun acrylic stands with the smaller ones. I decided to keep the entire shelf just because it looks so good. I couldn't take it apart. And of course, I'm also keeping a bunch of the art prints. Did I mention the ring dolls already? There's no way I'm selling the ring dolls anytime soon. I'm like, if I had to choose any merch piece to keep, it'll be the ring dolls. If I leave the ring dolls, you know I'm leaving the fandom, okay? Like, I just cannot do it. So I feel like that'll be like the last merch piece that I would sell. It was the first merch piece that I bought, so it will be the last merch piece that I'll part with as well. So yeah, I'm really just selling off my Danmei merch. I'm keeping all of my other ones, like my Korean BL and also Thai BL. I decided to downsize my things to just really prints and playable, watchable, readable medias. Although at this point, I'm highly considering not even collecting art prints either. I'm thinking about just getting like just the medias by itself. The novels, the comics if I'm interested in that, and also the radio drama for MDZS and CDs. That's pretty much about it. It's either stuff that I can read, watch, or listen to really simplify my collection. Like, we're going down to like source material, you know? My biggest fear when downsizing was that I was going to relapse, and I was worried that I was going to regret it and buy everything all over again, and even more, because that's exactly what happened last time, or in the couple of times I've done that already. I would always try to get the same items back because I feel bad that I sold it off, and I feel bad that I don't even have it on my shelf anymore when I used to have it. So I would try to purchase that, and then I would try to purchase more just to make up for how bad I was feeling. But now I feel like I'm more at peace with my decision. And originally I had like this little reward system for myself that I was going to buy these A4 binders because I decided that I was going to collect smaller merch pieces like prints, for example. I was going to buy like official art prints and also print out my own pictures to put into these A4 binders to help with the collecting itch. In case I were to relapse, I can just go back and collect these art prints and it won't be such like a huge hit on my wallet. However, I did get like these 4 binders last night, and after putting my prints into them and putting the binders on the shelf, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe this is kind of a bad idea. I don't really like the way this is going because I can see myself buying a bunch of binders at once, and I can see myself printing out a lot of pictures at once. Originally, I had ordered the Canon Selfie, which is like a little 4x6 photo printer that you can print off pictures by yourself at your own convenience in your own home. So I decided to cancel my Canon Selfie, and I decided that I'm not going to print any more of my own pictures because I can see myself hoarding so many of these pictures that I print. Maybe I can like hoard them digitally, that's fine, because I can always delete my digital photos within like a mere second, so it's not a big deal. However, when I hoard a bunch of things, it's even harder to let go and it's harder to stop collecting. So I decided that, okay, if I'm just gonna buy prints, it's gonna be official ones and I need to purchase them slowly. I can't just be buying them like I'm going on a shopping spree unless I can afford to. So as of this moment, I feel like I'm just gonna keep all the prints that I have. I don't need to like get rid of it. I can just keep whatever I have and be content with that and just collect medias like the novels, the CDs, and the DVDs. I think if I were to stick to that, I can collect slowly, and I think I'll be okay because I still have the series with. I just don't need to collect a bunch of the extra merch the series comes with. Also, I was contemplating on whether or not I should get an e-reader so that way I can get like digital books and not have too many books on my bookcases. But the reason why I settled on not getting an e-reader is because, one, there's not really a perfect e-reader out there for me. Like, I feel like there's so many of these options that I have to look into, and whenever I need to buy an e-reader, one, it's expensive up front. We're talking like $200 for like a decent e-reader, and then I have to pick an e-reader that's like not a part of one ecosystem if I wanted to read books here and there freely. I think there is one called the Books Page or whatever, and like it's not strapped to one ecosystem. It's like an Android e-reader. However, it's not like the perfect device either. There's things like ghosting and like, you know, no colors and all this stuff. So I didn't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with like my e-reader accidentally not working anymore, and then like I'll lose all my ebooks, I guess. I'm not really sure how it works. I don't know how to back up all these things, and I don't want to learn how to deal with all the different type of files. And then two, even though my books take up space on my bookcases, if I don't want them anymore, I can always sell it back and get some money back. If I were to purchase some ebooks, I can never get like any money back from that, you know what I mean? It's like I can't just like sell off my digital ebooks because that's kind of like an illegal thing to do, I think. So if I want to get some money back on my physical purchases, I can at least do that versus like digital copies. If I buy a book and then I don't like it, it's just gonna sit there. I won't get my money back for it, basically. At least that's how I think it works. If it works some other way, let me know. But that's also one of the biggest factor why I don't like it. And then three, I just like to hold a physical book when I read. I don't have to worry about charging it. I don't have to worry about my book accidentally not working and then like the device doesn't turn on anymore. My books will always be there with the text on the pages permanently, so it's not gonna go anywhere. The words are not gonna disappear. So that's also why I chose to go with the physical book route. And it just looks nice on the bookcase too. So I'm very happy with 7 Seas books. I like the way the spines look. It just kind of grew on to me. I know in the beginning a lot of people were making fun of like the way May novels look made by 7 Seas, the cartoony ass covers. It grew on to me and I like it now. So my goal right now is pretty much collecting like majority of the May novels by 7 Seas. I'll just read the summary and see if I want to read it, and then I'll purchase it. And in terms of my Korean BL shrines for my Ennead and Ghost Nocturne, I actually don't feel the need to add any more to that. Ennead doesn't have very much merch anyways, and it seems like they're not going to be releasing merch anytime from what it seems like, and there's very little merch, so whatever I have, I'm very content with how it looks on my shelf right now. And my Ghost Nocturne, I'm just waiting for the other half to arrive, and after that I think I'll be good. Like, I don't feel the need to collect any more of these from these series unless I want to and I'm able to. But my biggest hyperfixation right now has been Thai BL, and I'm really trying to cut back on buying like magazines and photo cards of these actors that I love so much. I did, however, buy the box sets that I wanted to buy, and I feel like I should be content with that enough for now. And the next biggest thing I feel like I should focus on is just continuing to collect the next releases of May novels, making sure that I actually read these novels rather than spending my nightly hours just continuing to hunt for more merch. Sometimes I feel like I spend a lot more time just hunting for merch rather than reading the actual novels, and I feel like I need to fix that. I want to actually enjoy the series more rather than just like spending a bunch of money on things that I can't read. So yeah, my priorities are a lot different now, so I feel a little bit more at peace with my decision, and hopefully I don't relapse like a month later or something. I don't think I will this time. I like the fact that I have savings, so I really want to be able to keep up with this. Every now and then I just gotta remind myself that I still have a dream to travel to Japan, to see different countries in Asia, and to have some real life experiences that I wouldn't be able to have if I were to continue collecting these things. And I always have to remind myself, is this what I still want to be doing in the next 10 years? And that question alone helps me make my decision whether I want to continue hoarding all of these merch items or not. And I like this question that Minimalist asks when it comes to making decisions of getting rid of items or keeping them. They often say, if it's not a definite yes, then it's a no. And I love that rule so much, and I try to go by it from now on when it comes to making my decisions for all these items. Thanks so much if you heard me out this far. I'm so excited to see where all this goes, and hopefully I will see you soon.